Picture this scene. It's biblical times. Abraham and Sarah have been walking for days to get to the place where they're going to settle. All their belongings, they're tired, they're thirsty, and they finally find the spot. It's in the region of Negev. Back in the day, you didn't just roll into the Holiday Inn, check in, and go to sleep and wake up the next day and go see the family. Oh no. When you got to town, you had to talk to people. You had to let them know who you were, who your people were, who are the people that you brought with you. And Abraham told everyone that his wife was his sister. Why on earth would he do that? Well, because back in those days, if the king liked your wife, he could take her and kill you. And Abraham didn't want to die. So he lied. And when the king saw Sarah, he was stunned. At 90, she was still a hot number. Can I be hot when I'm 90? So the king invited Sarah up to his palace to hang out. But before he got a chance to see her, that night he had a dream. And in that dream, God came to him and said, pump your brakes, pump your brakes. She married, you need to take her back to her husband. Okay, now, obviously God didn't say it that way. You should read Genesis 20 to know exactly how he said it and what he said. But essentially it was, hey, she's married. If you sleep with her, your kingdom will be destroyed. And to know the rest of the story, Genesis 20. And you might be thinking, so is today's video about salacious Bible stories? Absolutely not, but it would be cool if it was. But actually today's video is about dreams. And just like in biblical times, dreams still have very important information for us today. So grab your beverage, pull up a chair, and let's get started. Welcome. I'm Dr. Tracy Dickens. I am a psychologist, and if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad you found my channel. And if you've been here before, I'm so glad that you made it back so we could spend more time together. I am no dream interpreter, not even close. I will leave that task to Daniel and Joseph in the Bible. No. But I do know a thing or two about dreams. I know what makes them important, and that's what we're going to talk about today. First things first. We have 4 stages in our sleep cycle. The first stage, when we're drifting off to sleep. Then the second stage and the third stage are considered to be non-REM sleep or non-rapid eye movement sleep. And during that time period, your temperature drops, your blood pressure and your heartbeats and everything just kind of slows down and you go deeper into sleep until you're in the third stage and you are in a deep sleep, which is the hardest stage for you to wake up from. And the final stage is REM sleep or rapid eye movement stage. And in that stage, your eyes are moving rapidly, your heart rate and your blood pressure and your breathing are erratic. And most of us experience something called sleep paralysis that prevents us from acting out our dreams. And I'm pretty sure some of you out there have experienced that when you've woken up in the middle of a dream and you can't move. And there's this moment of panic, and then you realize that you're just sleeping, and then eventually it wears off and you're able to move everything. But it's really freaky when it happens. REM is the stage that dreams occur. Your body is very still. So other than your eye movements, nobody would know what's going on. But in an MRI, we know exactly what's going on. In the REM stage, there are 4 major areas that are working in your brain. There's the visuospatial, and that's the area in the back of your brain that takes in complex visual information. You have your motor cortex, which integrates movement. Then you have the hippocampus, where your autobiographical memories are stored. So that's your ability to remember what happened to you when you were 5 or 10 or 15, and the information that you learned that you've built upon over your life. And then the final area is the amygdala with the cingulate complex. It is a ribbon of tissue above the amygdala and on the inside of your brain. And these two work together to process and regulate your emotion. Now, interestingly, while all this is going on, the frontal lobe, the prefrontal cortex, the front part of your brain, where your organization, planning, logic, judgment, that is completely quiet. This would be like letting your 5-year-old run to the house unsupervised with all the sugar and the scissors. Your brain is just active with all of this very vivid activity. Another interesting fact about what's going on in that brain of yours while you're in REM sleep is that noradrenaline, also known as norepinephrine, which is a stress-related chemical in our brain, is cut off. It's the only time in the 24-hour period that your brain is devoid of norepinephrine, noradrenaline, which in your body, we know that as epinephrine and adrenaline. So those chemicals that give you that get up and go, that energy, that really fuel your fight or flight, it's devoid, it's quiet. So you have emotions and visual activity and motor activity, but no adrenaline. What could that mean? Earlier I said the amygdala is active, that area of your brain that is constantly regulating and stimulating and making sense of our emotions is active. But your stress-related chemicals are low. And this is the first clue to what makes dreams so important. Research has shown that approximately 35 to 55% of your dreams have an emotion related to your daily experience. So let me say that again. 35 to 55% of your dreams have emotions related to your day. So when you go to sleep, you have a brain that is not actively stressed, and the emotions of your day go right on through it. And when you wake up the next morning, if you've noticed, usually you feel a lot better. Now we know why that is. Whatever the emotion was of the day will show up in your brain, and because there's no adrenaline that's going to interact with it, that's going to battle with it, it gets processed. So you wake up and you remember what happened, but you don't have the same emotional intensity of what happened, which explains why you can remember this horrible accident you had when you were 5 years old or 10 years old or 20 years old, but you don't remember the emotion of it. You don't remember the pain of it. You just have the memory without all of the amygdala experience of it. In other words, you, my friend, have your own personal therapist inside that head of yours. Now, notice I said your adrenaline is low, your norepinephrine is low. However, for some people that have had traumatic events, the adrenaline never drops low enough, which means whenever that emotion of the day comes through, it retells the story of what that emotion is connected to. And that's how you get nightmares. Some of you that may have that experience, you may have noticed that when you take the medication prazosin, which was actually a medication for blood pressure, but had the side effect of lowering adrenaline in the brain, people reported having fewer nightmares. Interesting, right? So, a really important factor of REM sleep is that it allows you to process the stress and the excitement and the frustrations and all of those emotions of the day without your brain trying to fine tooth comb them and battle with them and overthink them and do all the things that our frontal lobe tends to do that keeps us up and drives us crazy. All that's on quiet, which is great. This is why sleeping on it is so important and true. If you're getting enough REM sleep, you will wake up with a new perspective, not feeling as overwhelmed. And the better you process your emotions at night with REM sleep, the better you are at interacting with other people, decoding social interactions, understanding your own emotions. But wait, there is more. Yes, there's more. But before I get to the more, if you're liking the video, push the like thumbs up down below so YouTube knows that you want more videos like this and they can spread it out to more people in the YouTube sphere. Okay, now back to the and more. REM sleep will help us make connections to information and help us problem solve. Because if you remember when I said earlier, the 4 areas that are active is the hippocampus. our autobiographical memory. So when we're sleeping, the information that we took in during the day goes into the hippocampus where all of that historical data is, and it starts making all of these connections that sometimes we can't see during the day because we're looking at the information in this very fixed, logical way. But sometimes the solution to our problems don't make sense. They're not logical. They require us to think outside the box. I mean, that's how we've gotten some of our best inventions, is people thinking outside of the box, thinking of what could be. Which brings me to the next thing about REM sleep. It helps with our creativity. Because that prefrontal cortex is quiet and we're not sitting there trying to logic through everything, we can just play and have fun and just put things together and see what happens. Our brain is able to be creative and see possibilities and create stories and artwork and music and just find all of this other layer of what it means to be a human. Dr. Matthew Walker explained it like this. Like an insightful interviewer, dreaming takes the approach of interrogating our recent autobiographical experience and skillfully positioning it with the context of past experiences and accomplishments and building a rich tapestry of meaning. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, seriously, it really is. And because dreams are so good at connecting information and integrating it and taking it from information to meaning and application, if you think about our stages of development, all this information I'm sharing with you really makes sense. Babies sleep a lot. Think of what's happening in their brain. They're integrating all of this information, emotions and meaning. They're acquiring language and they're creative. That's why you can have a kid that can have a block, and the block can be a truck, or it can be a house, or it can be a hot dog. It can be a million things because they're doing so much sleeping and they're getting just this rich overload of REM sleep. This is also important for adolescents because as parents are easing off and teenagers are starting to learn how to navigate the world, ensuring that they get enough sleep so they can process the chaotic emotions of the day and wake up and continue to decode and make sense of social interactions and emotions. They need that good quality sleep. As you can tell, stress and anxiety will definitely interfere with your ability to get quality REM sleep. So you really want to be intentional about checking in with your body, seeing where your emotions are physically, but also identifying them, labeling them, acknowledging them, and being intentional about processing them during the day if they just feel really overwhelming. If you find yourself thinking on them, meditating on them, and you can't move forward, you really want to be intentional about finding things to do. You want to watch your caffeine intake, and you also want to look at some medications that can interfere with REM sleep, like benzodiazepines and alcohol. And the problem with alcohol is that, it may get you to sleep, but it interferes with your ability to move through the stages of your sleep cycle. And it interferes with your deep sleep, it interferes with REM sleep. It's just really disruptive. Make space for sleep. We are a society that is deprived of sleep, which would explain a lot of the division and craziness and chaos that's going on. Because as you remember me saying just a few minutes ago, when we don't sleep well, we cannot decode social interactions well, and our emotions are a hot mess. So the better sleep we get, the better off we are. Just the better off everybody is. Seriously, prioritize sleep. It is a very big deal. If you liked this video and you want to see more videos like this, push the like thumbs up. Please push the likes thumbs up because that's what gets this video out to more people and lets me know to make more content like this. So let me know down below what information was helpful, what you do to help you get to sleep. To check out Dr. Tracy Marks' YouTube channel, which is just an amazing channel anyway, but her video on how to process nightmares is just golden. And I really want to thank you for spending your time with me. I so appreciate you. And until I see you in the next video, remember to always choose joy. Bye.